G'day, I'm here to tell you about this new addiction I've had as of the last few weeks called Semantle, a word game which is on the coattails of the big Wordle explosion around the world. But I think this is a lot more complicated, a lot more fun, a lot more brilliant. And if you're anything like me, then you're going to get addicted to it pretty quickly as well. So we're going to go through what it is, how it works, and I'm going to give you my top 5 tips on how to get the word. It's not easy, it's a lot of fun. Let's get started. Semantle is a game where you need to guess a word in the top 5,000 words used in Google News articles. So besides that, it could be absolutely anything. It uses this AI by Google called Word2Vec, which contains any type of word. I don't think there's any restrictions. There can be proper nouns, adjectives, there can be verbs, they can have different tenses, it can be anything. As you put your guesses in, it'll tell you how close you are based on how semantically close your word is. So what does semantically close means? It basically means how replaceable your guess is compared to the word. So let's say the word was house and you put apartment. That would be a very, very close word because you may see an article about property and it's talking about apartments, but if the word house was in there, it would still be okay. Now, if you put the word car, well, that's also sort of close because you get in a car, you get in an apartment. But when you get to something like speaker, you're getting a little bit further away. You're still a noun, but you're getting further away. If you said something like shiny, which is an adjective, or jumping, which is a verb, you wouldn't get many points. You would be very far away. So there's always one correct answer, and you've just got to guess and guess and guess until you can get it right. So just to give you an example of what it might look like when you're playing, you can type in any word you want. Let's say help. That's 10 out of 100. 100's the max. So if you get 100, you got the word. House, run, show. So you can see with show, we managed to get 770 out of 1,000. So we're 230 semantically similar words away from getting it. But you can keep guessing. Look, you might guess, and look, we're closer again. You can see based on these words, you just keep guessing until you get closer. My best game was about 11 guesses. I don't have that on film, unfortunately. My worst game, over 400. So it's not easy. It can be very, very difficult. Curriculum is a top 5,000 word. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I know. My top tips. It's good to try and figure out the type of word and the tense early on. So in this example, you might, instead of look, do looking, looked, looker, looks. And you can sort of then compare the similarity of these. So look is by far the best out of the guesses I just put in. It's probably just going to be a standard verb, an action verb. You're going to do something. You're going to look at something. But that being said, you need to be very careful because sometimes words have multiple meanings. And if you watch the video when I actually played number 62, you'll definitely see that that's the case for this one. If you're able to work out what type of word it is and the tense of the word nice and quickly, then every time you get close, you're not going to have to try and guess a different tense of the word to see if you've got it right. I'm not very good at that, but it's good to help you save time. Sometimes if you get the tense of a word wrong, then you'll just get a bad similarity score. So you might have a word that's actually really close, but because it's not replaceable because you've used the wrong tense, you won't actually get that close score for it. So just be mindful and be careful with those ones. Tip 2, be careful with words with multiple meanings and remember that this data set is actually using news data. Let's say that the word was corner. Now, when you're guessing, you might think that something like edge or square or room would be close, but there's a lot of news articles on sport. So corner is actually probably going to be a lot closer to, a soccer term like penalty, offside, that sort of thing. So you just need to be really careful and think about, how would this word be used in news articles rather than language as a whole. It's also good to sometimes just try and think of really broad words that you might see in the news. So something like sports, politics, war, home, law, event. Hasn't helped me out this time, but a lot of these really broad words will just help you get on the right track really quickly. So it's a good way to start, especially if you're floundering and maybe you've had 25, 30 guesses and you just can't even get in that top 1,000. Do some nouns, do some adjectives, do some verbs. It hopefully won't take you too long to get in the top 1,000, because once you start to get close, that's when it gets really fun and intense. I know it's a word game, but it's an intense word game. My next tip would be, if you're not doing too well or you're struggling or you're not enjoying it, then you're feeling bad about not being able to get the word, and take a break. When I had that 400 plus game that I mentioned earlier, it was 403 guesses, which took, over an hour of just, but by the end of it, I didn't know any more words. And I took a break, had to work the rest of the day, did some work, noted down some words that just sort of came to me during the day because I was just thinking about it. And then the second word, when I came back, I got it. So don't be afraid to put it aside and get back to it when you're feeling a little bit fresher. Make those connections in your mind to get the right answer. And my last tip would be to just enjoy it. It's really good fun. If you're the type of person like me, you like Sudoku, you like puzzles, you like crosswords, you really love this game. It's just unique every day. I really recommend it. Let me know if you enjoy it too. I'd love feedback on this and my other videos. Check my profile for seeing me play. Definitely have a go always yourself before you see me play. Let me know if you beat me. It's great fun. If you have more tips as well, please leave them in the comments. I might make another video if people want to know more tips. I'm not the best player in the world, so I'd love for some of the better players to let me know how they do it. If you want to see me play each day, click subscribe, and if I haven't given this up, then I'll probably see you tomorrow.